Win a game, take a player. It's exactly what it sounds like. We're going to sim each week. We'll go through every game and give the winner a player from the losing team. I'm going to do this only up until the trade deadline, and then from there, just let it play out however it plays out. So let's sim this first week and see what happens. My prediction is there's going to be like 4 to 6 super teams that just get all the players, and oh my god. So the Raiders lost. That means the Broncos are going to get Max Crosby. The Chiefs beat the Lions, so they will be getting Amon-Ra St. Brown. The Panthers beat the Falcons, so they'll be getting Jesse Bates III. The Ravens beat the Texans, so they'll be getting Laremy Tunsil. The Bengals beat the Browns, so they will be getting Myles Garrett. The Colts beat the Jaguars, so they will be getting Josh Allen. Since the Buccaneers beat the Vikings, they will be getting Justin Jefferson. That's got to be the best wide receiver core there ever was. Mike Evans, Justin Jefferson, and Chris Godwin. Because the Titans beat the Saints, they will be getting cornerback Marshawn Lattimore. That was supposed to be a hard decision to make because we can give them so many players off the Niners, but I feel like Brock Purdy would be the most beneficial for the Steelers. So because the Steelers beat the 49ers, they will be getting Brock Purdy. Because the Cardinals beat the Commanders, they'll be getting scary Terry McLaurin. Because the Packers beat the Bears, they will be getting DJ Moore. Because the Dolphins beat the Chargers, they will be getting Derwin James Jr. Because the Eagles beat the Patriots, they'll be getting Matthew Judon. Because the Seahawks beat the Rams, they will be getting Aaron Donald. Because the Cowboys beat the Giants, they get Dexter Lawrence II. Since the Bills beat the Jets, they will be taking Quinnen Williams. And with that wraps up week 1. I'm going to go on ahead and continue to do this all the way up until the trade deadline, and then we're going to sim to the playoffs and see what happens.
Trade. The Falcons beat the Packers. They'll be getting Jair Alexander. I can't believe my Raiders lost the game. Now we lose Josh Jacobs because the Bills beat us. The Ravens have beaten the Bengals, which means they're going to take Myles Garrett. The Lions have beaten the Seattle Seahawks, so they're going to take Aaron Donald. The Colts have beaten the Titans. They'll be taking Derek Stingley Jr. The Titans are starting to fall apart just a little bit. I'm happy to say the Jaguars have beaten the Chiefs and will be taking Patrick Mahomes. The Buccaneers absolutely smoked the Bears. They'll be taking Jalen Johnson off of their hands. The Chargers beat the Titans, so they'll be taking Marshawn Lattimore off their hands. The Cardinals have beaten the New York Giants, so we'll be taking Saquon Barkley. The Giants aren't going to be looking too good after this one. The Niners and Rams tied, so we're just going to leave them the same, and then we'll move on to the next teams. The Jets beat the Cowboys, so they're taking Michael Parsons. The Broncos beat the Commanders, slowly getting a much-needed defensive tackle in Jonathan Allen. We have another big swing because the Patriots beat the Dolphins, so they'll be taking Tua. The Saints beat the Panthers, they'll be taking Derek Brown. The Browns have beaten the Steelers, they'll be taking TJ Watt. All the games for week 2, now we're going to week 3 and see what's happened. The Niners smoked the Giants, they'll be taking left tackle Andrew Thomas. The Colts are unthinkable and beat the Ravens. Lamar Jackson is now an Indianapolis Colt. The Browns have beaten the Titans. They will be taking DeAndre Hopkins. The Lions have dropped to the Falcons. The Falcons will be taking Aaron Donald. It's been being passed around like crazy. The Packers take care of the Saints. They'll be taking the Honey Badger. The Texans take care of the Jaguars. They're taking Patrick Mahomes. The Dolphins have beaten the Denver Broncos. They'll be taking Max Crosby. The Chargers have beaten the Vikings. They'll be taking TJ Hawkinson. Jets have beaten the Patriots. They'll be taking Trent Brown. The Seahawks have beaten the Panthers. They will be taking Jesse Bates. The Cowboys have beaten the Cardinals. They'll be taking Buda Baker. The Chiefs beat the Bears. The Bears have like no players left. They'll be taking Montez Sweat. And my Raiders lost again. Now we lose Davante Adams to the Steelers. The Buccaneers upset the Eagles. Jalen Hurts is now a Buccaneer. The Bengals have beaten the Rams. That means Cooper Kupp is now a Bengal. This has got to be one of the better receiver rooms. Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, and Cooper Kupp. Tyler Boyd in the 4. That concludes week 3. Now we move on to week 4. The Lions have beaten the Packers. They'll be taking DJ Moore. The Panthers have beat the Jaguars, so they'll be taking Foyesade Oluokun. The Bills go to 4-0. They'll be taking Max Crosby off the Dolphins' hands. The Bills are looking quite unstoppable right now, I'm not gonna lie. The Vikings seem to be finished. The Panthers are beating them, and they're taking Danielle Hunter. I don't see how the Vikings can get out of this hole. They're losing Tremaine Edmonds. That's like their last 85 plus. The Ravens are back on the winning side. Even without Lamar Jackson, they beat the Browns for taking Nick Chubb. Texans have beaten the Steelers. Texans teams looking insane right now. Not really that crazy. But now they have Devontae Adams. Colts have beaten the Rams. They'll be taking Puka Nacua. The Buccaneers are 4-0. They've taken care of the Saints this time around. Now they're going to be taking Derek Brown. The Eagles beat the Commanders. Kendall Fuller is now a Philadelphia Eagle. The King is no longer with the Titans. He moves on to play with the Bengals and split the field with Joe Mixon. I don't see how my Raiders can get out of this. We lost again, we're 0-4, and we're giving the Chargers Colton Miller. The Cowboys have smoked the Patriots. Mike Onwenu is now a Cowboy. The Niners have taken down the Cardinals. Scary Terry McLaurin is now a 49er. The Jets have beaten the Chiefs. Travis Kelce is going to New York. The Seahawks have beaten the Giants. Darren Waller is now heading to Seattle. And that concludes all the Week 4 trades. Now it's time to move on to Week 5.
Halfway through, the Bills are 5-0. They're going to be stacked. The Buccaneers are still 4-0. The Colts are 5-0. Wow. All the 0-5 teams, that's where it's going to be bad. My prediction was going to be top 4 to 6 teams that just have all the players. There's going to be the middle teams where players just get circulated around, the same good players. And then there's these bottom 4 teams, 4 to 6 teams that are just going to have no players ever. So, let's go on ahead, start looking at what happens. Oh my god, the Raiders lost again. I'm going to cry. Our team's screwed. The Commanders beat the Bears, who are winless. The Bears are in big trouble. They lose Tevin Jenkins. The Bills continue their undefeated streak. They're taking Christian Kirk away from the Jaguars. The Falcons beat the Texans, and so Patrick Mahomes is now playing for the Falcons. The Colts beat the Titans, so Jeffrey Simmons is playing for Indianapolis. The Lions beat the Panthers. That means Danielle Hunter is going to Detroit. The Dolphins beat the Giants. They'll be taking Bobby Okereke. The Saints beat the Patriots. Tua Tagovailoa is heading to New Orleans. The Ravens beat the Steelers. Brock Purdy is heading to Baltimore. The Bengals beat the Cardinals. Trey McBride, tight end, is heading over. The Eagles beat the Rams. They get Matthew Stafford. The Broncos fall to the Jets, and the Jets' cornerback room now has Patrick Surtain and Sauce Gardner. Insane. The Vikings get their first win. They're taking Chris Jones off of the Chiefs. The Cowboys smoke the Niners. Nick Bosa is heading to Dallas. And the most painful of them all, the Packers beat the Raiders. They'll be taking Nate Hobbs. That's going to conclude the Week 5 trades. Go ahead and sim Week 6 and then make the trades for Week 6. The Chiefs have beaten the Broncos. Justin Simmons is... The Chiefs have beaten the Broncos. They'll be stealing Justin Simmons. Baltimore beats Tennessee. They'll be taking Roger McCreary. The Falcons beat the Commanders. They'll be stealing Kyle Duggar. The Vikings are finding a way to win. They'll be taking TJ Edwards off the Bears. The Seahawks have beaten the Bengals. They're taking Joe Burrow. The Niners beat the Browns. They get to replace Nick Bosa with TJ Watt. The Texans beat the Saints. Ryan Ramczyk is going to beef up that offensive line. This Colts team is looking unstoppable. They beat the Jaguars. They'll be taking Evan Ingram. The Panthers beat the Dolphins. Tyreek Hill is a Panther. The Buccaneers are still yet to lose. They pick up Penei Sewell off the Lions. The Bills beat the Giants 42-0. Still unbeaten. They take Kayvon Thibodeau The Cowboys beat the Chargers. Khalil Mack. Yeehaw. That concludes week 6 trades. Now we're going to week 7, which I believe is going to be the last week of trades, because after week 8, the trade deadline would have passed, and that'll be it. So, last chance to upgrade or downgrade your teams. See what happens. The Jaguars have beaten the Saints. They'll be taking Tua. Raiders finally win a game, but it's against the Bears, who are just as poverty as them. We're taking the left tackle, Braxton Jones. The Colts have beaten the Browns. The Browns are getting picked apart right now. Amari Cooper is playing for the Colts. 2 shutouts in a row for the Bills. They're taking Juwan Bentley off the Patriots. The Commanders have beaten the Giants. They'll be taking La'el Collins. The Lions have beaten the Ravens. They'll be taking Myles Garrett. The Falcons finally take down the unbeaten Bucks. They'll be taking Justin Jefferson. The Steelers take down the Rams. They'll be taking Rob Havenstein. The Seahawks have beat the Cardinals. Saquon Barkley is now a Seahawk. A 1-2 punch with Kenneth Walker III, and Saquon is insane. The Packers have beaten the Broncos. They'll be taking Jonathan Allen. The Chiefs have been running with 59 overall Blaine Gabbert, and now they've just beaten the Chargers, which means now they get Justin Herbert. The Dolphins beat the Eagles, looking to replace Tyreek Hill. They picked up A.J. Brown. The Niners beat the Vikings, and their Linsanity run comes to an end. Chris Jones is now a Niner. That defense is going to be crazy, except I don't even know who's still on it anymore. That concludes the Week 7 trades. Now we send to Week 8, and I believe the trade deadline would have passed. So we're going to look at the rosters and see who we think is going to really take off with this. The Bills, the Niners, the Bucks, those are like the top dogs. I don't really know. Justin Jefferson is a Cardinal, or is a Falcon. Michael Parsons a Jet. Nick Bosa a Cowboy. Lamar Jackson. The Colts actually look good too. The Colts are a big juggernaut. The Ravens have Nick Chubb. Lions with Myles Garrett. The Falcons are going to be a good team. They have Patrick Mahomes and Justin Jefferson. The Niners are still good. They got CMC, Tyreek Hill. The Panthers have been sneaky good recently for some reason, like in Madden Sim. Aaron Donald's on the Falcons too. That Falcons team is way better than I remember. Travis Kelce's on the Jets. The Jets are better than I remember too. The Bills are stacked. The Jets are... I didn't realize the Jets snuck in this being this good. A.J. Brown. I don't know, it's hard to say. It's really hard to say. Seahawks really stole Burrow. The Bengals were looking really nice, and then they lost Joe Burrow. So now we go to the Super Bowl, and we're going to see what happens. Simple playoffs first, We're going to simple playoffs and see what happens. Raiders only won 3 games, man. It's going to be tough. My prediction is already going to look... Bill 17-0. That's crazy. My prediction is already going to look correct now, but 2-3 years down the line, it's going to be, drastic. So right now the Bills, the Falcons, I didn't realize the Seahawks were that good. The Colts I mentioned. The Cowboys are that good. The Ravens, the Jets, the Buccaneers. Lots of really good teams, and then here are the middle teams that are just going to be just sharing the same players until they lose them all. And 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, here are your bottom 7, I guess. These 7 teams are never going to be anything, probably. And all these 13 win plus teams. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But it's crazy. Aaron Jones leads the league in rushing, followed by Bijan Robinson. Let's go to the Super Bowl. The Colts, maybe, but the Packers I would have never expected. We're going to have to look at both the rosters. Like, I know the Colts are stacked, but the Packers, I don't remember them being stacked. I thought, what? First, let's look at the Colts roster. They have Lamar Jackson, Jonathan Taylor, Josh Allen, Quentin Nelson, Jeffrey Simmons, Amari Cooper, DeForest Buckner, Evan Ingram, Kenny Moore II, Derek Stingley Jr., Puka Nacua, Michael Pittman Jr. Yeah, their roster's insane. Like, I'd expect them to be able to beat the Bills, but the Packers have Aaron Jones, Jonathan Allen, Honey Badger, Bakhtiari, Nate Hobbs, but like, this is just the normal Packers pretty much, besides, Jonathan Allen and Honey Badger. If the Packers win it all, I'm shook. So for some reason, it won't let me sim the game or load into the game. It just says view this game's box score, so we won't be able to watch the Super Bowl, but we'll just go ahead and sim and see who wins. So let's go ahead and sim and see who wins the Super Bowl. Win a game, take a player. If it goes to Packers, I'm shook. And the Colts won it. I was almost shook for a second. I hate this. It's so weird. Okay, I gotta go back to the Raiders. Yeah. So Colts won the Super Bowl. Jonathan Taylor, Super Bowl MVP. Offensive Player of the Year, Brandon Ayuk. Myles Garrett with the Lions Defensive Player of the Year. It's an interesting time. So that's the end of the first season. If you want to see the second season, let me know. Leave a like. That'll be it. Yeah. See ya. That's not what I wanted. Pion!
Oh! No! Yeah! I swatted and I swat.